On this edition of Good Day DePaul, the election that stunned the world. Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. DePaul reacts.
And what does it all mean? How will the election shape the future of our country? We'll have some answers.
And millions of Chicagoans celebrate the Cubs World Series championship, including many at DePaul. I'm Celia Scavero.
And I'm Jennifer Zipser, and this is Good Day DePaul.
DePaul students gathered for a free speech panel last week, and the arguments got heated.
Okay, fine. You're asking her leading questions, though. I'm
asking because I'm getting to my point.
The panel included representatives from the DePaul College Republicans and Black Student Union, administrators from DePaul and the University of Chicago, and an opinion writer at the Chicago Tribune. Much of the conversations focused on the events that transpired last spring when college Republicans invited conservative speaker Milo Yiannopoulos to campus.
The whole subject was about free speech and its place on college campuses, and I think that's especially important at DePaul University. It's been such a contentious issue, and, not just with the Milo event, it's continued. We've continuously had to go up against these barriers with the administration, with free speech.
Other topics included safe spaces on college campuses and how free speech applies on public campuses versus private universities. The event was then open to the audience questions, most of which surrounded racial tensions on campus.
We want to model at the university what we'd like to see in open society, and that is a civil society where we can, in fact, discourse.
The event was held to demonstrate the importance of free speech in our society.
Members of the DePaul community gathered outside of the Arts and Letters Hall to dedicate to the new Vincentian monument constructed over the summer. It was built to celebrate the 200-year anniversary of the Vincentians arriving in America. The monument features the names of more than 257 Vincentians who have worked at DePaul since 1898.
It's finally over. The American people have elected Donald Trump as the next president of the United States. Good Day DePaul's Lorraine Taylor was with Chicago area Republicans last night and is with us in the studio now. Lorraine?
Celia, an election for the history books indeed. Donald J. Trump has been elected our nation's 45th commander-in-chief in what many are calling the most stunning upset in U.S. political history. I was with Republicans on election night to gauge their reactions to this historical win for a candidate unlike any other Republican in history.
For Hillary Clinton supporters, it was a night of shock and bitter disappointment. Good Day DePaul's Daniel Beatty was with Clinton supporters last night and joins us in the studio now. Daniel?
Jennifer, Hillary Clinton supporters in Chicago were hoping for an historic victory, but it soon turned into their worst nightmare.
The night began in cheers.
For many years, the only workout room on DePaul's Loop campus was a small, cramped space in the lower level of the CDM building. Well, that's finally been replaced by a modern, spacious exercise room. Good Day DePaul's Edna Espino recently checked it out and has the report.
This used to be the Loop Fitness Center, a small room with only a handful of weights and exercise machines.
It's the video that shocked and stunned the city of Chicago and the rest of the country. A Chicago policeman gunning down a young African-American, Laquan McDonald. And that shooting is still being remembered. Good Day DePaul's Jesus Montero has our report.
It was the shooting that was seen worldwide.
Courtney Alamondi is here now with sports. So Courtney, it finally happened. The Cubs won the World Series.
That's right. It's still hard to believe after 108 years. The Chicago Cubs have finally won a World Series.
That piece really captures the frustration of golf, doesn't it, Dan?
That frustration is why I don't play golf, Adam. The University Center of Chicago is seeking a refinancing that may potentially result in the sale of the building.
Up next, a different perspective on Shakespeare in a unique DePaul play.
And a meaningful observance at the National Museum of Mexican Art in Chicago. These stories next on Good Day DePaul. On this edition of Good Day DePaul, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton go head-to-head in their first one-on-one debate. DePaul reacts.
DePaul's speech and race action plan is released. University President Father Dennis Holschneider weighs in.
And gentrification. It's affecting many Chicago neighborhoods, including some close to DePaul. I'm Jennifer Zipser.
And I'm Daniel Beatty, and this is Good Day DePaul.
Many are calling it one of the most decisive events of the presidential campaign, the first one-on-one debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. DePaul students were among the millions who were watching. Good Day DePaul's Lorraine Taylor is in the studio with more details. Lorraine?
Jennifer, Clinton and Trump squared off in what many are calling a debate for the history books. A real estate tycoon versus a seasoned politician. I spoke to viewers in Lincoln Park to gauge their reactions to the debate. The boos? Almost everyone has an opinion about this election, but it will only count if you vote. If you're not registered, visit www.vote.usa.gov to become eligible. Daniel?
Thanks, Lorraine. DePaul recently released a so-called speech and race action plan. It's aimed at dealing with many of the issues that still linger from the Milo Yiannopoulos controversy last spring. I sat down with Father Dennis Holschneider and others to discuss the plan and how the university goes forward.
Hello, darling.
Members of the DePaul community gathered outside of the Arts and Letters Hall to dedicate to the new Vincentian monument constructed over the summer. It was built to celebrate the 200-year anniversary of the Vincentians arriving in America. The monument features the names of more than 257 Vincentians who have worked at DePaul since 1898.
It's called gentrification, and it's changed many Chicago neighborhoods, including some near DePaul. Good Day DePaul's Edna Espino says some DePaul students are working to put limits on how extensive gentrification becomes.
Locked doors, empty storefronts. In some cases, this is what's left in neighborhoods like Logan Square.
Coming up in sports, the DePaul women's soccer team scores a big win in a rivalry game.
And every year, DePaul students study abroad, but the transition back can be challenging. Those stories next on Good Day DePaul.
Adam Shalafu joins us now with sports. So Adam, a big win for the women's soccer team?
Big win. How about a big week? After 2 rain delays nearly had DePaul's women's soccer game against the Loyola Ramblers canceled, the Blue Demons recovered from a rocky start and cruised to a victory at Wish Field. That piece really captures the frustration of golf, doesn't it, Dan?
That frustration is why I don't play golf, Adam. The University Center of Chicago is seeking a refinancing that may potentially result in the sale of the building. A DePaul spokesperson said the building could be sold if a compelling offer emerges. The dormitory serves as housing for students from DePaul, Roosevelt University, Columbia College, and Robert Morris. It is the only DePaul housing location located in the South Loop campus.
Study abroad is often a memorable and sometimes challenging experience for DePaul students. But as Good Day DePaul's Celia Scavaro reports, sometimes coming home is the hardest part.
Studying abroad is an opportunity to study, live, and work with people all over the world.
After the break, Banned Books Week kicked off. Find out how the DePaul community stood up for their right to read.
Plus, I sat down with a DePaul alum who's thriving in the Chicago theater scene. Those stories next on Good Day DePaul.
The flu is unpredictable.
DePaul recently celebrated Banned Books Week. The goal? Getting the university community to celebrate their freedom to read. This year's events included information tables, library displays, and the performance readings of the 10 most challenged books of 2015. Banned Books Week brings the readers together each year to support free and open access to information.
Over the years, DePaul's theater school has turned out a large number of successful actors. And as I found out, one of them has recently been making her mark on the Chicago theater scene. Rehearsal rooms such as these act as great spaces for students to learn, memorize, and practice their lines for upcoming shows.
That's all for this week's edition of Good Day DePaul. You can also keep up with us by visiting our Vimeo channel at Good Day DePaul or by going to goodday.depaul.edu. And if you have any news tips, send them to gooddaydepalnews@gmail.com.
And check us out online on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You'll find us by searching Good Day DePaul. Thanks for watching. I'm Jennifer Zipser.
And I'm Daniel Beatty. Have a good day, DePaul.
When you walk down the streets of Chicago, it can be difficult to ignore the seemingly endless number of homeless people asking for help.
A nickel a dime, it goes a long way.
many of whom are just trying to make it through the night.
I usually try to come up with like $60 to get bus passes and food for my kids to eat every day. I don't even come up with that every day, so we have to sleep outside.
According to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Chicago has the 7th highest homeless population in the country, behind New York City, Los Angeles, Seattle, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Washington, D.C.
A lot of people are skeptical on giving them money because they figure it's a scam, and not all of them are scamming. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some that's homeless that are going through the heroin epidemic or have some kind of drug problem. I mean, it should be enough programs out here to maybe help them get off the drugs and, point them in the right direction. That's all I figure.
Anise Cheatham's, a program director with the You Can Make It homeless shelter in Inglewood, said the most important thing is getting these people off the streets and into housing that they can afford.
Yeah, especially when you don't have an income. No one wants to rent to you with no income. How you gonna pay rent? So a lot of people don't have income that come in here, so we do try to help them get, TANF, public aid. But that's still not no money. Like a mother with one child, $318 a month. What you gonna pay rent at for that? That's why I'm saying we really need low income housing. Go according to your income.
According to the Chicago Coalition for the Homeless, there are an estimated 140,000 homeless people living in the city. This led the mayor's office to create a new 7-year action plan to put an end to this problem. This plan would create systems to prevent homelessness, provide more stable employment opportunities, develop more youth assistance programs, and create more affordable housing options. While we see a lot of homelessness in the downtown area, others have chosen a more alternative means of survival.
The Uptown Viaduct, located at 4600 North Wilson Avenue, is where several homeless people have chosen to gather around each other and build a community that they call Tent City.
But Tent City is not all it's cracked up to be. Tents are lining the sidewalks with everything the residents own out in the open for the world to see. The sides of the viaduct are decaying, the roofs are leaking, and city officials are constantly requesting the residents move out. And the street noise is not exactly soothing. Kashmir, a transgender woman, has been under the viaduct for over a year. She moved to Tent City after cutting ties with her family.
My family didn't really accept me for my transition, so I decided to leave because I guess I could take care of myself and I could come up from this position. And it's been a kind of a struggle for this past year, but it's I guess keep a positive mind. For the winter time, so when it gets cold, I have a little bit of heat to keep me warm inside here. I don't put it on too high because I don't want to burn a hole in the tent. That happened before, so it kind of caught me off guard. I just try to make it as close as home as I can get it. It's kind of hard out here, but I make the best of what it is. Oh, this is my pink blanket. This is my favorite blanket. This is the only thing I really have for my real family, so I guess cherish what I can get.
The Wise Memorial Hospital is located 1 block from the Uptown Viaduct, and many of the residents of Tent City said they come here regularly to do things like wash up, brush their teeth, and iron their clothes.
22-year-old Tent City resident Dion Shanera said the response from the people living in Uptown is enough to make anyone feel like an annoyance.
Every single day, you have people walking past, just, knocking over our stuff and staring at us like they look like, look at all those tents, ugh. And then, and then they just say smart remarks, and it's just ridiculous.
And although the residents of this community live together, Kashmir said it's still important to keep your guard up at all times.
Across the street, they fight a lot. Over here, down there, they fight a lot. And some smoke. They smoke things that I had never even seen, so I got into the viaduct. Since this whole year, I have seen people do type of drugs that I only see on TV. and it's kind of scary to me. But it's like we're nowhere else to go. Like, you got to make the best of whatever you get.
According to the National Coalition for the Homeless, 2/3 of homeless people say drugs or alcohol played a role in them becoming homeless. J.R. Borowski is a former resident of Tent City and said it's why he helps out whenever he can.
7 years ago, I decided I never wanted to get high again, and I've been to prison 5 times. I've been to the best treatment centers in the country. Nothing seemed to work. By the grace of God, when I got out of prison, the Family Empowerment Center of Chicago on 1515 West Devon Avenue, I was sleeping in one of their boats and they found me. And from there, my life has just been changed.
Borowski holds an event twice a year, 1 block from the Uptown Viaduct, to provide them with food, clothes, and just someone to talk to.
Christmas, I handed out 300 brand new jackets, over 500 pairs of brand new socks, a couple hundred shirts, and hygiene products like you would never believe.
Tony Duncan volunteers with Borowski at each event. He says the most important thing to remember is keeping a positive mind.
So I asked those people to look back before they were homeless. Look back when homeless was never even in their thoughts. So just as that reality changed for the worse, well, that worse reality can change for the better. You have to see past your situation.
Kashmir said she keeps her head up by doing just that. She says her situation has actually inspired a new dream and potentially a future career.
I want to open up my own for-profit business organization, actually, for the LGBT and the straight community, for people that feel like they don't have nothing, or runaways that have somebody to talk to and lean on. For somebody gets like a cool spot for you to kick it and take naps if you don't have nowhere to go.
We reached out to a number of city officials within the mayor's office and aldermen, but got no response. The city's 7-year action plan to decrease homelessness is expected to be fully implemented by 2020. With Good Day DePaul, I'm Kyle Woosley.